Hey guys, welcome back to the vlog. For the first time ever, I have touched down in China. As a Chinese American, I've wanted to visit for a long time, and at last, I found the opportunity to go on a quick solo trip to Shanghai. First things first, I checked into my hotel, the City Hotel Shanghai. Okay, I just got to the room, and here it is. I have one king bed, which is very nice and spacious. And then out the window, I haven't looked yet, but this is the view. And then back this way, there is a little station here with some hot water boiler and some water. And then this is the bathroom. Nice. Hey guys, I've made it to Shanghai and I'm so excited to be here. Today was actually quite a big travel day. I got it pretty close to getting onto my flight to Shanghai, so I'm actually so relieved to be here. This is my first time in China and I've actually been wanting to come to China for a while now, but I've always felt that it was a little bit too daunting because usually you need a visa to go to China from the US. However, I recently found out that China offers a visa-free transit policy, and I'm reading this off of Google so I don't get it wrong, but basically China offers a visa-free transit policy for citizens of 55 countries, allowing stays of up to 240 hours or 10 days into certain parts of China. And because it's a transfer policy, you have to have a confirmed ticket to a third country or region. Basically, you have to be traveling from one place to China to another place that's not your home country. So that is what I'm doing for this trip. I'm basically going from the US to Korea to China to Hong Kong after this. So it's kind of like a long transfer in Shanghai. And if anybody's curious about how that works when you get to immigration in China, you basically go onto a line where you can say that you don't have a visa, and then you'd fill out a paper slip with all of the details of your flight information and where you're staying in Shanghai or wherever you're staying in China. But you fill out the paperwork and you go through immigration as usual, and basically they just need to check that you're actually going to be leaving the country within the certain amount of days that you're allowed. I'm in China for 5 days and I'm only staying in Shanghai, but even though I'm only staying in one city, I feel like there's just so much to do here, and especially because I've never been to China before, I feel like I'm just very excited to see what this city is all about. I have a lot of places saved, so I'm gonna try to hit as many of them as I can in the few days that I'm here. But considering it's around 6 p.m. right now in Shanghai, I think I'm just gonna use today as like a travel day, and I'm probably just gonna stay around here for dinner. I don't know what kind of spots are around here. I haven't really done too much research, but I think what I'm just gonna do is I'm just gonna like walk around and find somewhere to eat. I walked around the area, which has lots of cool shops, restaurants, and bars. I ended up passing by this noodle shop that looked good and decided to eat here for dinner. I got the beef noodle soup, which just really hit the spot. The noodles here were amazing. And this entire dish cost only 36 RMB, which is equivalent to about $5 US. Just went to a 7-Eleven and got some ice cream, and I'm gonna eat that for dessert back at the hotel. It's a cat cafe. But while walking back, I passed what I originally thought was a cat cafe, but is actually a cat store with the cutest cats I've ever seen. Okay, I'm back at the hotel now, and I have my ice cream from 7-Eleven that I'm gonna eat. But Shanghai is so cute so far. I really like the area that I'm in. I feel like there are so many cute little shops, restaurants, and bars, like a ton of bars that look really cute. And I think I figured out how to use Alipay, which is pretty much the main app that people use for paying for things here. At least it's one of the main apps. Oh, actually now that I see, this is a Japanese dessert. I was really craving something sweet, so this is perfect. Anyways, I think I'm just gonna turn in for the night after this, and I'm so excited to take a shower, and I'll just wind down a little bit and then plan my day for tomorrow. I will see you in the morning. Good morning, everyone. It is around 8 a.m. right now, and I got some pretty good sleep last night, though I woke up really early because of the jet lag, so still I'm definitely feeling the jet lag. But to combat that, I'm gonna go grab some coffee first. There's a cafe about 15 minutes away that I've really wanted to go to, so I'm gonna go walk over there first, and then we'll see where it goes from there. This is my outfit today. It is a little bit warmer in Shanghai than it was in Seoul, so hopefully I can get away with having a skirt. Let's head out.
My walk to the cafe was so pleasant. The tree-lined streets were so beautiful and the weather was brisk but nice. I arrived at my destination, Black Sheep Espresso, where I felt instantly at home. Even though it was early, I had to order the avocado because it's just so darn cute. Afterwards, I took the metro up to North Bund, Greenland, a scenic riverside park and urban green space right along the northern stretch of the Huangpu River. There's a very popular photo spot here that I decided to wait in line for, and I do think it was worth it.
Now I'm walking to a cafe and it's not even open yet, so I'm just taking my time. But honestly, I'm really enjoying walking around the area. It's just so clean and the weather's really nice, so this is very pleasant.
I walked across Huaihai Bridge, which has this beautiful view I stopped to admire of the Oriental Pearl Tower. And then I made it to Society of Home. This is a curated lifestyle and clothing store that also runs a cafe, which is what I came for.
I'm a bit hungry now, so I'm gonna go find some food.
That led me to the downtown central area as there was a particular restaurant I really wanted to try, Lai Lai Xiaolong. The line was pretty long despite it not even being noon yet, but it went quite quickly. Lai Lai Xiaolong is a well-known xiaolong bao or soup dumpling restaurant that's especially famous for its crab and crab roe filled soup dumplings. I don't eat seafood, so I got the pork xiaolong bao, which were perfectly juicy and extremely tasty. Totally worth waiting in line for, in my opinion. Lai Lai Xiaolong was right by Nanjing Road Pedestrian Street, which is Shanghai's most famous shopping street and one of the busiest commercial streets in the world. I walked through just a little bit of it as I soon hit People's Park. This park is considered the geographic and cultural heart of Shanghai as it's based in central Shanghai and is surrounded by major landmarks, museums, shopping streets, and transit hubs. The greenery here was definitely beautiful, but what I ended up being most excited about were all of the cats.
So People's Park is also where the Shanghai marriage market is, but it looks like they only do that on Saturdays and Sundays here, and unfortunately it's Monday. It would have been cool to catch that, but alas, it's okay. But the marriage market is when unmarried adults will come to the park and try to find a partner pretty much. Now I'm heading to the K11 mall because I really want to buy a new phone case because I got a new phone recently and they have a Casetify store there.
I made it to the K11 Art Mall and immediately headed for the Casetify Studio store. I had just gotten the iPhone 17 Pro, so I was looking for a new case for it. However, I found it really hard to find a case I liked for the new phone design and ended up leaving empty-handed. I did a little more browsing around the mall, where they had a fun pop-up shop, and stopped by the pop socket store. The designs for the pop sockets were so cute, and I thought having one would come in handy, so I got this one. I hopped on the metro to my next destination, Yuyuan Old Street. This traditional-style commercial street in Shanghai's Old City is designed to reflect Ming and Qing dynasty architecture with curved roofs, red lanterns, wooden facades, and stone walkways. It's really more like a little neighborhood rather than one street. I loved browsing through the traditional snack stalls, souvenir shops, and restaurants. Since I was hungry, I checked out the food street, which holds stalls selling a variety of Chinese food and drinks. I decided on this spot because I really wanted a scallion pancake. I tried going to Yu Garden, but sadly it was closed that day.
So I really wanted to catch the Yuyuan Old Street around nighttime so that I could see the lights, but I'm just too early right now. It's around like 3 p.m. Sunset is around 5 p.m. And what I think I'm gonna do in the meantime is go to the Bund to catch sunset and then come back here after the lights are on.
I headed to the Bund, which is a mile-long riverside promenade along the west bank of the Huangpu River. It faces Pudong's beautiful and futuristic skyline, which is one of the most famous sites in Shanghai. It was getting a bit chilly, so I went to a nearby Luckin Coffee for a warm drink. Hey guys, so I'm at Luckin Coffee now because there was one really close by and it was getting pretty chilly out, so I needed a place to hang out for a little bit while I wait for the sun to go down. I didn't want any more caffeine for the evening, so I ordered a jasmine milk tea, and look how cute the cup is. They're doing a collab with Demon Slayer right now. I even got this Tamioka cup sleeve. Okay, gonna give it a try. That's very good. Really perfect for right now since it's pretty cold outside. Anyways, I am pretty much just waiting for the sun to go down. I'm also charging my phone with my external battery. It's been quite a long day so far and I'm definitely tired, but I feel like I've gotten so much done today and I'm excited to see all of the lights in the evening. So for now, I'm just going to hang out here, maybe post some of my stories on Instagram and wait for the sun to go down. Okay, I'm back outside. So it's 5:30 and I was really hoping that the lights would come on by now, but I guess they're coming on around 6. Anyways, the main problem is that I'm pretty cold. It's actually quite cold outside, so I don't really want to just stand in one place and wait. So I'm thinking that I will go back to Yuyuan Old Street and go check that out in the nighttime and then come back here and then go back to the hotel from this area because there is a train nearby. I know the timing doesn't really make too much sense, but it's just a little bit too chilly for me to just like stand in one place, so might as well start walking to Yuyuan. Okay, it's 5:50 and I've made it back to Yuyuan. And I was so happy to find that now all of the lights were on. The whole place looked absolutely stunning with the lights illuminating the already gorgeous architecture. In the daytime, the place felt historical, but at nighttime, it felt magical. Okay, now back to the Bund. Yay, the lights are on! Another 20-minute walk back to the Bund later, I got to see all of the beautiful lights. At nighttime, the Bund truly shines. Buildings light up in warm gold tones while Pudong glows with neon and LEDs. For dinner, I went to a yakitori spot right across from my hotel as I knew I wanted to crash right away after I ate. And I'm so glad I went here because everything was absolutely delicious. And let me tell you, I was starving, so I ate good. I finished the meal with some black sesame marshmallow ice cream, which was the perfect end to the day. Good morning, guys. It is around 8:30 a.m. and I am pretty tired still from yesterday, just like more like physically exhausted. It was just a very long day yesterday. I don't really have any set plans for today, so I am kind of taking it easy this morning. I'm really down for a little bit more of a chill day today. I still have 2 more full days in Shanghai after this as well. Okay, I'm gonna finish getting ready and then I will pick up the camera again. Okay, it's like 9:30 now and I'm ready to go. I'm gonna go to a cafe that opens at 10 a.m. This is what I'm wearing. I'm gonna wear my sneakers with it. Pretty edgy look, I kinda like it. Let's go. The morning walk was refreshing and I was definitely excited to have some caffeine. I arrived at Spot Table the minute they opened and was the only customer there so early. The cafe is so beautiful with its minimal interior and natural light. They serve specialty scones and I ordered the oolong one, which tasted wonderfully strongly of tea. The latte I got was also incredible and went along perfectly with the scone. The way everybody is shooting their outfits over here, and I'm one of them. My next cafe stop was Coffee Spot, a sister cafe to Spot Table. coffee spot is a lot smaller as it has no tabled seating inside, but it's so cute and cozy. I ordered a black coffee to go. I walked myself over to Jing'an Temple, which is located in the heart of the Jing'an district. This temple is one of Shanghai's oldest and most important Buddhist temples, originally built in 247 AD. It's located directly inside of the city and sits dramatically among modern skyscrapers. After finishing up at the temple, I walked to Anfu Road. This short, tree-lined street is located in the former French concession near Wukang Road and Jing'an. I was famished, so when I came upon RAC Coffee and Bar, I decided to grab food there. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting much of this place as it serves French-style food, which is not what I'd expect to be the best in Shanghai. But I was clearly mistaken because this egg sandwich and these fries were so good. Time for some shopping! My first store was Deja Vu, a popular secondhand shop. Their second floor features their bookstore, selling pre-loved books of all kinds, plus some homeware items as well. I thought the design of the shop was very beautifully done. The third floor holds clothing and fashion items. These include lots of pre-owned designer pieces, which were, as expected, on the pricier side. But you can definitely find some gems here. The next shop I visited right next door was Wiggle Wiggle. This whimsical lifestyle and retail store is originally from Korea and is well known for its playful and colorful vibes, merchandise, and photogenic spaces. There are 4 floors in this shop and all of them are just so fun. Okay, I made it to the end of Anfu Road and I want to go to 13 de Marzo, but the problem with today is that first, now I'm a little bit too full for a drink, and also I really need to use the bathroom. And I will say finding bathrooms in Shanghai has been a little bit difficult. I did find one earlier today that was really good, but some of them don't have toilet paper, and then also some public restrooms, of course, are just the squat toilets. And I've also been finding that some restaurants and cafes don't have public restrooms. So I will come back to this area either tomorrow or the next day and get a drink at 13 de Marzo. But for now, I'm just gonna head back to the hotel. Anyway, there's the Shanghai bathroom information you needed. Hey guys, so I made it back to the hotel and I hung out here for a while, and now it is around like 5:30 or 6 p.m. So I'm just gonna go head out and have some dinner. There is a spot nearby that I passed by the other night and it looks really good, so I wanna try it out. And then maybe I'll do a little bit more walking around before I turn in for the night. I walked down the block to Dakchan Cantonese stewed soup. Their specialty is traditional slow-boiled or double-boiled soups, but I came here for this pulled pork dish I saw online. I didn't even know the name of it, I just showed the staff a photo and she knew what to do. This ended up being my favorite dish on my Shanghai trip. Hey guys, good morning. I woke up naturally around 6:30 a.m. today, which is perfect because I did want to get a little bit of an earlier start today. Today I want to see Wukang Mansion and then also walk down Wukang Street and go back to Anfu Road. I did some more research yesterday and there are so many more shops that I didn't get to hit that I will definitely try to hit today. But I'm gonna start walking because it is about a 30-minute walk from here to Wukang Mansion. Okay, looks like I was wrong and it's actually like a 45-minute walk, but at least it's really nice outside. The walk really was pleasant since the streets were so beautiful. And at the end of my walk was the famous Wukang Mansion. This historical residential building was completed in 1924 and was originally built for Western expatriates working in the French concession. Its French Renaissance-style architecture and wedge-shaped design have made the building one of Shanghai's most photographed landmarks. I really needed some coffee, so I went to Gathering Cafe. This cafe has a calming and homey interior along with this beautiful outdoor space that made me feel so at peace. The coffee was delicious and I had a lovely time sipping it in the cool, fresh air. Also, this is an 11 out of 10 takeout cup design. I walked back towards Wukang Mansion because a bakery I wanted to visit there had just opened for the morning. This is Apali Ita Bakery, and it looks like it was taken straight out of a Harry Potter movie. The bakery offers a wide range of freshly baked goods, from savory breads and sandwiches like focaccia with pastrami or truffle ham and cheese, to sweet pastries and desserts such as blueberry tarts, tiramisu, cinnamon rolls, and more, all freshly made throughout the day.
Okay, I've hidden myself away in the back over here. I only got one pastry and it's basically this it looks like an egg tart. I wish I could try more, but I don't think I have the stomach for it right now. This one was marked as a top number 1, so let's try it. Perfectly flaky. Wow, that's really good.
Here we are back for round 2 at Anfu Road. And what better spot to start than 13 de Marzo? This fashion brand is known for its clothing and accessories featuring playful designs and bear motifs. Everything in the store was so cute, but also very pricey. On the ground floor sits the 13 de Marzo Cafe, which serves a variety of coffees, teas, and other trendy beverages. But the best part of this cafe is that every drink comes with a little bear. I even got 2 drinks because they were so cute. And the drinks themselves didn't taste bad, but people are definitely coming here for the bears. The next store I hit was Haus, located just across the street. This is a popular beauty, perfume, and lifestyle retail store with several locations around Shanghai. Here, you can find thousands of products from high-end skincare and luxury fragrances to travel-size items and niche brands, often at competitive or discounted prices compared with typical retail. And look out for yellow stickers on products because those are all 40% off. After Haus was Look Now and Flow, a concept boutique and lifestyle store. They sell clothing, goods, and accessories from a variety of independent brands. But besides the clothes, this store also holds a huge collection of jelly cats. I was so tempted. I found some beautiful ceramics and dishware at Gathering Shop. And then made my way to Tagi, a Shanghai-based lifestyle brand. Here you can find so many cute home goods and accessories. Everything is so whimsical and simply adorable. I ended up buying this red hair clip. For lunch, I spontaneously came upon this Hainan chicken rice restaurant and decided to go for it. The portion was so big and it tasted delicious. It really was the perfect lunch. Before heading back to the hotel, I stopped by one more store, Monday Sleeping Club. All of their clothes are so cute, but on the pricier side.
Hello everyone, I had my afternoon siesta at the hotel again and now I'm gonna head out for dinner. Honestly, this area is really good for food. There's just so much good food around here. So I did find a spot that's pretty popular for scallion oil noodles that is down the road. It's only 5:30 right now and I find that nobody really eats dinner this early usually, so that's usually good for me and I like to try to go early so that I skip any of the evening crowds.
I walked over to dinner at Huxilao Longtong Noodle House, which is a popular Xiaohongshu viral chain in Shanghai, known for affordable, authentic, and savory noodle dishes. And of course, I ordered the scallion oil noodles. They were oily as expected, but also just so tasty with the perfect amount of scallion aroma. Oh my god, I am so full after that meal, and it was only 10 RMB, which is like less than $2. That's crazy. Anyways, I'm gonna go take a little walk now to digest. My walk brought me to Huaihai Road, one of Shanghai's major commercial boulevards. It's often compared with Nanjing Road, but leans more upscale. I ended up at Yuyuan, which is a Japanese lifestyle and fashion brand that sells a huge variety of items from clothing and lifestyle goods to plants and stationery. I ended up finding so much cute stuff to buy here. Right across the street was one of the biggest Muji stores I've ever been in. There is just so much merchandise here that you wouldn't be able to find in America. Like these cute Muji food dog toys. And you bet the Muji food selection was elite. I couldn't leave without a few snacks. I am all shopped out for the evening. It's like 8 p.m. now, but I will come back here tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. I am already on the go. I just left my hotel and I'm heading to a cafe called Metal Hands. It's about a 20-minute walk from my hotel. It is really beautiful outside. It's like the perfect temperature. It's not too cold, not too hot, and I got to wear a dress today. It is my last full day in Shanghai today, so I'm planning on doing all of the things that I haven't done yet, which honestly I feel like I've done a lot of things here already, but I'm pretty much just going to try to hit some restaurants that I want to go to, cafes, and whatever else I had on my list. I arrived at Metal Hands and instantly fell in love with its intimate, homey interior. This design-driven specialty coffee shop features a menu with the coolest specialty brews and has been recognized as one of the top 50 coffee shops in the world. This cinnamon latte I got was both so cute and incredibly good. When I left Metal Hands, Haus Nowhere was just opening, so I was one of the first people in the door. I found that this store had a lot of different visuals than the flagship store in Seoul, and I loved walking around and admiring the art. The top floor even has a dedicated gallery with no merchandise. But speaking of merchandise, I went kind of crazy and ended up buying a pair of sunglasses. We don't have to talk about it. To celebrate my purchase, I went to Nice Rice for some more coffee. Nice Rice is a clothing store with super chic clothing, but this location has its own cafe. It's like a milk tea coffee. Delicious, really. I hopped on the train to get to my next destination, Dahuchun. Dahuchun is a classic Shanghainese eatery beloved for its shengjianbao, pan-fried soup dumplings with a crispy bottom and flavorful filling. I got an order of the shengjianbao as well as some curry noodle soup. The soup was just alright, but the shengjianbao would definitely make me come back here again. They were so crispy on the outside and flavorfully juicy on the inside. On the way to my next destination, I found myself at this mall with one of the coolest food courts. There were bubble tea stalls everywhere, but sadly I wasn't hungry enough for one at the time. Instead, I got one of these cream sandwiches because it just looked so yummy. It was so soft and surprisingly not very sweet. So this mall is right by Tianzifang, which is what I was here for. Tianzifang is one of Shanghai's most atmospheric and creative neighborhoods that's famous for its maze of narrow, winding alleyways lined with boutique shops, art studios, galleries, cafes, bars, and restaurants. Tianzifang developed from a former residential and light industrial area when local artists and small businesses moved in during the late 1990s and early 2000s. This helped to preserve the historic buildings and keep the neighborhood's texture and character intact as a pedestrian culture corridor. I wandered around aimlessly until it started to rain. For dinner, I went back to Feng Bar noodles because it was just so good and convenient. I got the same beef noodle soup I got on my first night in Shanghai, which really felt like a full circle moment. I enjoyed a short stroll, of course passing by my favorite cat store, before turning in for my last night in Shanghai.
Hey guys, it is my final morning in Shanghai today. My flight is at 3 p.m., so I don't have too much time to do many things today, but I am up early. It's around 8 a.m. and I want to hit one cafe before I go to the airport. I am planning on going to the airport quite early because the lines at China Eastern Airlines were super long when I was in Seoul, and I was afraid that I was gonna miss my flight. So today I'm not risking that at all, especially since I want to do tax-free, and that means I have to go through customs, things like that. My plan is to go to the cafe, then come back here and finish packing, and then call a Didi to the airport.
Okay, so I lied and was actually early enough to visit 2 cafes instead of 1. I had been really wanting a specific drink from Birdie Cup Cafe that I'd seen online, so I beelined it to the nearest location since they open early. And this is the drink. The mint Eisbach coffee, topped with a generous amount of mint leaves. If you love mint, this drink is for you. I thought the blend of coffee and mint worked so well together and that this drink was absolutely delicious. And for my final coffee in Shanghai, I went to Plus One Coffee on Zhulu Road. This cafe is housed in a charming 2-story converted villa-style space with warm wood tones, abundant natural light, and a cozy terrace that's perfect for people watching. I got this Vienna coffee because it comes in the cutest mug ever. It was so nice to sit outside in the fair weather with my little sweet treat for my final morning in Shanghai.
Okay, I made it back to my hotel and I packed up all of my stuff, and now I'm gonna head to the airport. Bye, hotel room.
I set out on my way to Pudong Airport. Little did I know, I had made a grave mistake.
Oh my god, I went to the wrong airport.
Thank God I had decided to get to the airport over 3 hours early. There was luckily a train that runs between the 2 airports in Shanghai that takes around 45 minutes. I really thought I wasn't gonna make it, but somehow I got to the gate with 20 minutes to spare. Make sure you double check which airport you're leaving from, guys. I assumed mine was gonna be the one I arrived from. But that's about it for this vlog. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.